How's everybody doing today? My name is Master Zero, and welcome back to another reaction video. This time we're reacting to The Past We Can Never Return To, the Anthropocene Reviewed by In a Nutshell. Alright, so first things first, huge shout out to Joe Waltz. Thank you so much for this suggestion. And he did say that it's one of their best videos, so I'm gonna hold you against that. But all jokes aside, this is probably gonna be fantastic. And this is kind of weird, like just the title alone is different from their other, because it says reviewed. And as far as I know, they kind of do their own little things. They don't really review most stuff. I know the egg was one of them, so I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm just assuming stuff at this moment. So without any further ado, here's The Past We Can Never Return To.
Today, we're doing something different.
I was right, it's different.
Our friend John Green will read a story from his podcast,
John
The
Green?
Anthropocene Reviewed.
I love
We hope you
podcasts.
enjoyed,
They're amazing.
And we'll be back with a regular video soon.
Oh, okay. This is already very different. I love it.
So, if you've ever been or had a child, you will likely
Yes.
already be familiar with hand stencils. They were
Okay.
the first figurative art made by both our kids. Somewhere between the ages of 2 and 3, my children spread the fingers of one hand out across a piece of paper,
Okay.
and then, with the help of a parent,
I have no idea what
traced
this is
their
about, by the
5
way.
fingers.
I don't know what Anthropocene
I remember
is.
my son's face as he lifted his hand and looked absolutely shocked to see the shape of his hand still on the paper, a semi-permanent
Dude, this is so
record of
heartwarming.
himself. I am extremely happy that my children are no longer 3, and yet to look at their little hands from those early
I don't know, man.
artworks is
Mine's
to be
5 and
inundated
I miss
with a
it.
strange, soul-splitting joy. Those pictures remind me that they are not just growing up, but also growing away from me. running
Don't
toward
do
their
this.
own lives.
But
of course,
I don't need
that's
this.
meaning I am applying to their hand stencils, and that complicated relationship between art and its viewers is never more fraught than when we are looking deeply
Whoa.
into the past.
3-dimension.
In September of 1940, an 18-year-old mechanic named Marcel
Okay,
Ravidat was
it's
walking
way
his
more
dog
animated than
Robot
normal. I
in
love
the
it.
countryside of southwestern France when the dog disappeared down a hole. Robot eventually returned, but the next day, Ravidat went to the spot with 3 friends to explore the hole. And after quite a bit of digging, they discovered a cave with walls covered with paintings, including over 900 paintings.
Can you
of
imagine
animals,
walking up and seeing
horses,
that?
Stags, bison, and
Oh,
also
that'd be so
species that are
fascinating
now
to see,
extinct,
dude.
including a woolly rhinoceros. The paintings were astonishingly detailed and vivid, with red, yellow, and black paint made from pulverized
Okay, I was wondering what the
mineral
hand
pigments
thing had to do
that
with
were
this.
usually blown through a narrow tube, possibly a hollowed bone, onto the walls of the cave.
Dude.
It would eventually be established
That's
that
smart.
these artworks were at least 17,000 years old.
Okay.
2 of the boys who visited the cave that day were so profoundly moved by the art they saw
Yeah, that would be
they
so
camped
cool,
outside
dude.
the cave to protect it for over a year.
Dude,
After
they were
World War
committed.
II, the French government took over protection of the site, and the cave was opened to the public in 1948. When Picasso saw the cave paintings on a visit that year,
Picasso?
he reportedly said, "We have invented nothing." There are many mysteries at Lascaux.
Okay,
Why,
cryptic,
for instance,
Picasso?
are there no paintings of reindeer, which we know were the primary source of food for the Paleolithic humans who lived in that cave? Why were they so much more focused on painting animals than painting human forms? Why are certain areas of the cave
Lot of
filled with
questions.
images, including pictures on the ceiling
Maybe
that
never
required
answered.
the building of scaffolding to create, while other areas have only a few paintings? And were the paintings spiritual? Here are our sacred animals? Or were they practical? Here is a guide to some of the
It's a
animals
Pokédex.
that might kill you. Aside from the
Gotta catch a
animals,
ball.
there are nearly 1,000 abstract signs and shapes we cannot interpret, and also several negative hand stencils, as they are known by art historians.
Okay.
These are the paintings that most interest me. They were created by pressing one hand with fingers splayed against the wall of the cave, and then blowing pigment, leaving the area around the hand painted.
So your hand is the literal
Similar
stencil.
hand
I got that.
stencils have been found in caves around the world, from Indonesia to Spain to Australia to the
Let's go.
Americas to Africa.
Weren't we all
have
one
found
big
these
colony, though?
memories
At
of
one point, right?
hands from 15 or 30 or even 40,000 years ago.
Or not so
These hand
different.
stencils remind us of how different life was in the distant past. Amputations, likely from frostbite, are common in Europe, and so you often see negative hand stencils with 3 or 4 fingers.
Oh.
And life was short and difficult. As many as a quarter of women died in childbirth.
Dude.
Around 50% of children died before the age of 5. But they also remind us that the humans of the past were as human as we are, their hands indistinguishable from ours.
Oh,
These
I love the
communities hunted and
perspective.
gathered, and there were no large caloric surpluses, so every healthy
You go,
person
girl.
would have had to contribute to the acquisition of food and water,
Yeah.
and yet somehow they still made time to create art, almost as if
art is so important.
isn't optional for humans. We see all kinds of hand stenciled
Firm
on
believer.
cave
I mean, I'm an
walls,
artist, so-
children and adults, but almost always the fingers are spread, like my kids' hand stencils.
Like a
I'm
turkey.
no Jungian, but it's fascinating and a little strange that so many Paleolithic humans who couldn't possibly have had any contact with each other created the same paintings the same way. Paintings that we are still making. But then again, what the Lascaux art means to me is likely very different from what it meant to the people who made it. Some academics
is very
theorize
true.
that the hand stencils were part of hunting
You can interpret
rituals.
it completely
Then there's
different.
always the
That's what
possibility
art
that
is.
the hand was just a convenient model situated at the end of the wrist.
Oh, come
To
on,
me,
man.
though, the hand stencils at Lascaux say, "I was here." They say, "You are not new."
God, this guy's
And because they are
mindset. I
negative
love it,
prints
dude.
surrounded by red pigment, they also look to me like something out of a horror movie, like ghostly hands reaching up from some bloody background.
Yeah?
They remind me that, as Alice Walker
God, this guy's
wrote,
deep, dude.
all history is current. The Lascaux Cave has been closed to the public for many years now.
Aw.
Too many contemporary humans breathing inside of it led to the growth of mold and lichens,
Oh,
which has damaged some
okay.
of the art.
Kind of like the Alamo
Just the
when
act
people
of
touch
looking
it.
at something can ruin it, I guess. But tourists can still visit an imitation cave called Lascaux 2, in which the artwork has been meticulously recreated. Humans making
I
fake cave art
guess.
to save real cave art may feel like peak Anthropocene behavior, but I have to confess that even though I am a jaded and cynical semi-professional reviewer of human activity, I actually find it overwhelmingly hopeful that 4 teenagers and a dog named Robot discovered a cave with 17,000-year-old handprints.
Oh my god, this
That
video,
the cave
man.
was so overwhelmingly beautiful that 2 of those teenagers devoted themselves to its protection.
For a year.
And that when we humans became
That's-
a danger to that cave's beauty,
Makes
we
you feel,
agreed to
dude.
stop going. Lascaux is there. You cannot visit. You can go
For
to the
good
fake
reason.
cave we've built and see nearly identical hand stencils, but you will know this is not the thing itself, but a shadow of it. This is a handprint, but not a hand.
Oh, goddamn, man, I'm on the
This
verge
is
of
a
crying, I'm
memory
not gonna lie.
that you cannot return to. All of which makes the cave very much like the past it represents.
Goddamn, man. Gotta be like Mr. Deep over here.
We hope you enjoyed this video, even
Yeah.
if it was different. Check out John Green's podcast.
I enjoyed the hell out of
Anthropocene
it,
Reviewed,
dude.
where he poetically reviews
Yeah,
the
you
human
got-
world we live in.
You got a new listener,
John
my
is
guy.
a good friend of Kurzgesagt.
Dude.
In fact, without his channel Crash Course that he and his
Crash
brother
Course,
Hank
you gotta
started
remember that.
years ago, Kurzgesagt would not exist because it was the original inspiration for what we do today.
Dang!
And
The more
over
you
the
know.
years, John and Hank have
That's
helped
really
us in a
cool.
multitude of ways,
Yeah,
from
Pokemon.
advice to just being friends.
That's
So
cool.
check out the Anthropocene Reviewed or any of their many channels.
Hell yeah. Let's go, dude. That was so good. Alright, so Joe Watt, thank you so much for this suggestion, my guy. It was fantastic stuff. And like they said in the video, it was different. It was completely different because one, it was a different guy talking like all together, but you still had the same like art style as a Kurzgesagt video, and that's really, really cool. It's just, I don't know, man, like the way the announcer he explains stuff, like his point of view, like when he looked at just a hand, like just an outline of a hand, like how he interpreted it. It's just fantastic. Like just his point of view, his mindset of the world is very positive. Like And lack of a better word, like, without explaining, like, going too far into it, like, yeah, he is just a positive guy, and, like, just the way he expressed, like, it could be, like, a horror movie aspect of it, where, like, a ghostly hand coming out of a red background, or it could be, like, like, a symbol of, like, I was here, you know, like, the person making it, but we don't know, and that kind of ties into what I really, really love about science and, like, space and stuff. It's, like, the unknowing part is what I'm really, really fascinated in with the subject. It's just fantastic, like, and that's what I keep saying, like, In a Nutshell does with their videos, like, more recent ones especially, but pretty much all of them, like, they ask a question that I didn't know I wanted to ask, you know, and then they try to answer it best they can, and that's fantastic stuff. This channel's so good. In every video I see, it has yet to diminish that flame. Like, every time I watch another In a Nutshell video, it's just, I re-spark that joy, you know? It's just fantastic stuff. So yeah, I loved it so much. So thank you everybody so much for watching. If you like this video, feel free to leave a like down below, subscribe, and ring the bell, and become a member. You get videos a day early, and check out the merch. So with that said, I have been Master Zero. Y'all guys have been fantastic, and I'll see y'all in the next episode. Later days.